can we make videos that YouTube want to show to people beyond my subscriber base? I mean, I tried for 7 or 8 years, I think, with that channel that you helped me with, where I got nowhere. And then with your help, it went somewhere.
And there's been varying results. Like some videos have got 9,000, some 14, some 20, some 25. And the best one we've reached is 44,000.
If you're already doing YouTube, but you can't figure out why it's not working for you, Zach will punch you in the face, metaphorically, and explain to you what you're doing wrong in the nicest way. James Schramko here. Welcome back to my podcast. This is episode 1102. Coming to you from the Philippines this time and another place. And I've got my friend Zach here from VidSurface.com. Hey, Zach, welcome back.
Hey, mate. Yeah, thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, well, it's time for an update. This is a free-flowing episode. I promised in my last couple of episodes, which were solo episodes, to do more timely content and a little more sort of heartfelt, emotional content, get real. In the past, when I've traveled for a few months, I've batch recorded. I'm not batch recording. This is live. So we're taking a cut on the camera quality and the sound quality, but we're getting the content out there. And I've had tremendous feedback in the last 2 episodes, people saying they want more of it. And this is relevant to us because you've been helping me with my YouTube strategy. I mean, I tried for 7 or 8 years, I think, with that channel that you helped me with, where I got nowhere. And then with your help, it went somewhere. And we'll talk about that somewhere and sort of where that's up to now. But one of the things that has come through is people seem to particularly resonate with real and leaving natural things in, which is against what we're told a lot with the heavily produced stuff, like leaving in ums and ahs, leaving in someone ringing the doorbell, or dropping something in the videos. It's a technique that I learned from a guy called Mark Whitehand, and that has been noticed by the audience. But what we've done is we've connected a real audience with the planning of the videos that we've done, the outlining of the big idea, the titles, the thumbnails and everything. For the most part, we've had some knock it out of the park wins. We've had some stumbles as well. And that's the part I'm talking about, leaving in the real stuff. Today, we're just going to have a real conversation about where we're at and what's happening. But first of all, I just want to say thank you. I could not have got the YouTube success on the surf channel without your help.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Some people have noticed
come a long
that
way.
you've got a lot of talents, right? You helped me first with my fitness and food and strength training, and then the YouTube channel. Like, is there anything else you do?
Top secret. No, not much else. I don't know. Bit of meditating, bit of guitar. That's about it. Reading books. Simple guy. But yeah, it's been fun over the past year, just over a year now, and to see your channel go from, what was it, like 90-ish subscribers to now it's at 1,446. So most people struggle to get 100 subscribers, let alone 1,000. So,
There's a couple of things that are probably worth pointing out here. Firstly, it's been about a year. We haven't made a lot of videos in that time, right? That's probably one notable thing.
Yeah.
We've both got the analytics up on the screen here on our thing, but
11, 12 videos. So on average, one a month.
So that's a really important thing. If you're watching or listening to this and you're thinking, oh, I want to do something on YouTube, it's not like you have to release something at 2:00 every Tuesday. We always hear be consistent and, high frequency, but neither of those things have been true in my case.
Yeah. You could look at it from different angles. I mean, there's some niches and channels that would probably do better with posting a lot of frequent content. Like in the fitness space, it's extremely competitive and it can be quite boring unless you're always on top of the news, keeping up to date. And there's more evergreen topics. So it depends on what type of channel you're trying to do and what you're talking about. But in this particular channel that we've been focusing on, each video has been based around the research we've done on the audience and knowing who it is we're talking to, what are proven topics to have a demand with interest. And there's been varying results. Like some videos have got 9,000, some 14, some 20, some 25. And the best one we've reached is 44,000. And all that's really saying is that there's demand for that topic, maybe a little less competition, and the way we've packaged it up has got people's attention, made them click and watch. So yeah, like it all began from the idea and the audience and that research, and then that applying the process, the 10 steps in the blueprint that we talked about in the last podcast.
You still giving away that blueprint? I just thought I'd ask at this point since you mentioned it.
Yeah, not giving it away for free. It's $15 on the website. So yeah.
VidSurface.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, want some help from Zach, he does consult now, and it's been the difference for me. That's why I've got him on the show. I also have partnered with Zach to help him find more people like me, which is basically everybody. Most of us suck with our YouTube. I noticed that you had a real savvy for it, but where you've been the most helpful for me is the big idea. You've saved me from making videos that would have really sucked many times. I think that's one of the big keys. Like if you don't know what to make, that's where Zach's quite helpful, because you're so methodical with the idea. Like you'll shoot down something that's obviously a mistake. You'll let things through, but as long as we do the work, and I think that probably has come from your fitness background. You have to do the prep work to get the outcome. We can definitely narrow down the chance of a failure. And even when we do have failures, and like even the last video we released was not as popular as the ones before it, we immediately go into the process of understanding why and what would need to change the outcome. And I love that scientific process. And we all know, like copywriting, for example, can be highly scientific. So just a quick recap. We haven't published many videos, about a dozen over a year. We get way more views than subscribers we have for the most part. Like, for example, with the 44,000 views, we probably only had 1,000 subscribers or less than at that point. So that's what I love about YouTube the most. And I think they've learnt from other platforms like TikTok, perhaps, that they let the algorithm find your people. So if you give them what they want, they put it out there. And that's what's changed for me. I went from not making videos that YouTube wanted to show to their audience. And a lot of online marketers are guilty of this. They make shitty videos and then they buy traffic to try and force people to watch them. It's like brute forcing a result, or they go and buy bot farms to drive up the views for credibility and clout. But at the core of it, those videos are not going to sell anything. It's only the fact that people might look at the high view count. Whereas my model's different. I'm getting paid by YouTube for people who watch my content, and I'm building up a brand that has a resale value. So one day I will sell my brand. And this is pretty critical to mention at this point. I'm not trading on my name in these videos. I think I mentioned my first name. The only way people would connect me to it is if they know me through the online world or if they look at the about page on the website. But that's not happening when someone's seeing a YouTube video on their feed, right? So this is a brand building exercise for me. It's ironic, I'm wearing my McLaren cap today, and they won the Constructors' Championship in Formula One. And that's a great example of a brand, a strong brand that is instantly recognizable. So we've done infrequent videos, but we've done our methodical research to narrow down our chance of a mistake. Let's talk about, when you say packaging, Zach, what does that look like in your process? If you could describe it as a process.
Yeah, so when I say packaging, it's you can almost think of YouTube initially as like a package. Like there's, the way it looks, the way it feels, is to get attention, and then when you open the package, there's an experience. So it's like when people click on the video, what are they going to experience? But to keep it really simple, what that packaging means is what's the video idea, what's the title, what's the thumbnail, and now what's becoming, well, what's always been important, but even more important over time is the hook and intro. So if I say like we're working on packaging, what I mean is we're trying to tightly tie together the idea, the title, the thumbnail, and the intro so that all of it is congruent and it gets attention, creates curiosity, gets the click, and in that first 5 to 10, 20 seconds, gets the right viewer to say, okay, yeah, I'm interested. I want to continue watching this video. And when all that lines up perfectly, it doesn't always line up perfectly, or it might line up perfectly, but it's just the topic is not interesting, or maybe there's been too many other videos made about it, so people are a bit exhausted from that idea or that particular topic. But when it all comes together and the demand is there, or there's a trend, then it's like the sweet spot. It's like all the planets align, and then you get a video that does 40,000 plus views. So it's really like you said, that scientific process of keeping things. And this is something we've done is we're clear on the audience. There's probably 2 or 3 avatars that we kind of overlap. We don't need to talk about the avatars because it's unique to your channel and niche, but we're clear on who we're talking to. And we have a brief idea that, okay, they're not going to be interested in this, or if they are interested in that, it's not the content that you're making. So we're not trying to play hopscotch across every sub niche within your niche. Like, we're within the surf industry niche and we're focusing more on products. We're not focusing on big wave surfing
Or how to
um,
surf better,
yeah,
or
how to
high
be,
performance surfing. Like, it's actually,
yeah,
I'm pretty clear on what I'm not. And even occasionally when we get a stray comment complaining that it's not those things, it's easy for me to say, hey, this, I might not be the right channel for you, because I started surfing when I was 42. I'm never going to be the guy teaching people better technique.
yeah. Like, you're not
But
Kelly Slater or
I'm
Kelly Slater's
also,
coach. So
I'm
yeah,
6'2" and 97 kilos. I'm not going to teach them how to ride a 6'1" thruster, which is a high performance shortboard that professionals ride, because they're all 5'10" acrobats. But what I have found is my market of people who are just like me, a little more mature, like the alternative boards, probably haven't had the same budget that I've had to be able to access them and know all about them, or to dive deeper into the technicalities of it. And I think that's where we've been very scientific, is when we publish something, we then see what the response. It's like there's an action and then there's an equal and opposite reaction. If the reaction is zero response, then we know that something's missed. And now, knowing the packaging formula, we can go and so one of the videos that didn't go that well, we went and looked at the packaging, and we could see that the hook was all right. It had the same amount of people 30 seconds in than some of the better videos. The click-through rate still pretty good in terms of the thumbnail. It's just maybe that there isn't that many people on the big idea itself in the very beginning. That might be the problem with it. These days, we're using the built-in YouTube split testing feature, and we load up 2 thumbnails. And sometimes it calls it really quickly, and other times it takes ages to call it. And I think it's on total watch time, right? Which is what they want.
yeah. They're comparing the watch time to which thumbnail is getting more, yeah, watch time. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't know if they're going to evolve it and give us more metrics, but for now, I trust it because it's something that YouTube's made. So, and it's going to show equally video for video, whereas other softwares we've tested, it may show one video for an hour, and that could be like the peak time that your audience is on YouTube. So then it looks like that one did really well, and then the next hour it changes, and then that one looked really bad. But you don't. It's not apples for apples. Whereas at least YouTube is a fair comparison, even though we don't know which one got the more high click-through rate. But here's the way I look at it: is if YouTube really cared about click-through rate, they would have put click-through rate as a metric on that tool within YouTube Studio, but they didn't. They only put watch time. So it's like almost like a big clue saying like, hey, if people are watching your video for longer, that's what you should be worried about, not necessarily if it's got a massive click through rate, but that could only people could be dropping off after 10 seconds because it's clickbait. So I think it's a good clue for anyone who's actually actively doing YouTube to not get obsessed with click through rate, but think about what can I do to make the video more watchable or more interesting, like kind of like a TV show. Because like unless something is insanely interesting or fear inducing, it's hard to watch videos that are quite boring. And I think what's worked well with your videos is that you've set up a nice scene or backdrop. You kind of mix it up a bit, the angles, and you feel like you're talking to the person, not just talking to it. You don't really script a lot. Maybe the intro is what we script, and you use good examples and B-roll. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's talk about those elements. Some of them, obviously, I brought along to it, but they weren't helping me with my YouTube before. But when combined with the packaging, it's helped. So one thing we've discovered is it's always best if I follow your hook script word for word, right? Which old me used to sort of freestyle it a bit. Actually, before that, I didn't even worry about hooks. I didn't even know about hooks. I just talk. But the hook is so critical that we decided that I must follow it word for word. And that's in the case of the videos that got the most views, they're in for the roller coaster ride and they stay in the whole way, which was phenomenal.
Mm.
The second thing is most of the videos are recorded with a handheld camera, this little DJI. It's a small 4K resolution, actually, but I think we record in high definition. But it basically has a little built-in gimbal, and it's a creator kit, so it has the good microphone. Obviously, anyone making videos should focus on having good sound, and so having that built-in wireless microphone and a handheld camera. The thing about the handheld camera, and it's usually my wife filming, is you feel like you're there talking to another person because it is moving around a bit. It is on a gimbal. It's not static. There are some scenes where I filmed it on a tripod, just because it's just me. And you can definitely tell the difference. And also, when I'm holding surfboard equipment, I might say, "Oh, check out this fin," and she'll just move her arm over closer to the fin and then bring it back out. We always try and keep the shot quite wide so my editor can zoom in when he wants. So we give him more space than we need so that he can zoom in. Other things are I try and film in order because it's just easier to edit. If you ever hear someone saying, "Oh, let's just fix that in post," that just means we'll just add 5 hours extra, right?
Oh yeah,
So
it's
when we
annoying.
film, I basically print off the script and I will do the hook exactly word for word. And then I just pick up the piece of paper and put it down and I do the next bit and then the next bit and then the next bit and the next bit. And when I put all the files on a desktop, I can actually then just change them. I just number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I put that in Google Drive. And then I put the B rolls. And if a B roll relates to video clip number 2, then I'll put 2B, B roll. And I describe the B roll. So over time, we're building a library of B roll. So it might be B roll, red, Fiji, channel bottom, 6, 8, twin fin. Later on, and like what I've noticed my editor do, he'll pull B roll from 5 videos ago when I mention the same board. So we're building a library of assets. This is the things we can talk about now that we couldn't talk about last time because we've had time to evolve this. The other thing that I give my editor is when I put it in Drive, I actually take a screenshot of all the files that he should have and put that in a Google Doc. I right click, create a Google Doc, and I put the title of the video, the script from the video, and any notes about some specific clips on YouTube that I like and the time mark. And I put a picture of all the files he should receive. And we have the approved thumbnails and we have all the B roll. Now, B roll is any roll that doesn't have the actor talking, right? So my process is Zach and I ideate and do the scripting. When Zach's signed off on that, then we move on to the thumbnail thing. To get the thumbnail, when I'm filming, I will I'll film the video with the with the camera. My wife films me. Then I'll usually grab the camera and film B-roll of each thing. I'll just scan the video over over the things we want that I'm talking about in the video, and then we go either set up in the garage or go outside and take some stills with the 4K resolution or with a DSLR camera. And then I send Zach the best of those, and he's helping me select the thumbnail. And often that will be inspired by something that's already performed well on YouTube. So he might give me a draft in advance of filming day so that I have to capture something that looks a bit like that to send back to him. And he does some ideation, and then I have my graphics person make it and then send it back for approval. So what we end up with in Drive, just in summary, is numbered files, the whole script where the hook is word for word, and then the rest of the video is per the script, roughly. We end up with approved thumbnail A and approved thumbnail B, and we end up with B-roll, which my editor can use. If the B-roll is specifically linked to something, then I'll put it right next to that file. And sometimes I end up with extra static shots, like draft thumbnail shots they can use in socials and stuff. Because what we do after we publish on YouTube is we take that whole video transcript and thumbnails and images from the video, and we put them on our blog post, and that gets a lot of traffic and ad revenue as well. So we're recycling that core content, and from then on, it's just track the metrics. And one of the things that I'm paying the most attention to, and you've taught me this, Zach, is the comments. A couple of ideas there. One, you've taught me not to be afraid when we get negative comments, because that's useful. And two is we're taking the clues from the comments to make the next videos, and that's worked really well for us.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good ideas from the comments, and it's not just one comment like, "Oh, do this." It's like a repetition of like, "Hey, this was great. What about that?" And then someone else was like, "Oh, yeah, me too, and me too." Like, kind of looking for that trend. But you've also got a lot of good ideas. You've validated initial ideas being in other groups off YouTube, like just being in the community of the niche on other platforms and speaking to product manufacturers. So you've got ideas outside of YouTube, which is also helpful because if we only just look at YouTube, it's like a bit of an echo chamber. Like you only kind of see what's on there, but you don't really see outside of it, which is what other people might be interested in or what's actually going on in the real world. So it is good to be, in any industry, like in fitness or whatever. If I'm just looking at YouTube, I could be missing out what's working on Instagram or Twitter, or just from being in the gym and speaking to clients, like what do they actually care about, and then you can find new angles that may have already been done, but with a twist. Like we've talked about products that already have 5 or 10 videos on them, but we've put a little spin on it, and it's done well. So we definitely don't want to reinvent the wheel. And like you said, it's a systemized process. So good thing with the system is we can keep say like hook, for example, we have a structure for the hook. So if it's always kind of the same, if we make one change, we know maybe that change did this. Or if we change the style of thumbnails, we know, okay, that did something. But if every video was random, it's really difficult to find the rhythm, to find your groove.
In terms of the structure, like one thing that I've done, I built a GPT engine and fed it all the frameworks that I like to use for the YouTube videos. And I've obviously fed it the transcripts from the videos that went well as a learning phase. And then when we're coming up with a new idea, I ask it to update the video engine with the new idea. And that's where I'm working with the body of it, but you're always tuning the hook. There's things you're looking for in the hook that have to be there. In particular, we have to get attention straight out of the gate. We also do it with the video editor. We've tried to put the most enticing visual reel possible at the start of the videos to grab people early. And you've got your own frameworks as well that you use. So combining our frameworks, that's where we're leveraging the consistency in terms of repeatable formula. What I have noticed, though, it is almost impossible to predict what's going to go well or not. I've been wrong the last few times. So I would have thought channels on surfboards was not that popular, but it really went very well. And
I was doubtful of that one too.
I was too, but it went, and I was actually a lot more confident about softboards, but it didn't go as well, and that was shocking. But also, we just cop it on the chin as part of the process. And I think one of the things that YouTube does, it will humble you. You know, some people who probably think that they know best and that they have all the answers are probably not going to be that scientific. They're going to be more the creative types, and they might be popular for different reasons. Maybe they have an already big fan base. Like often we see a big video, but then when we look at the subscribers, they've got even more subscribers than the views. And we know that only a small percentage of their subscribers are actually interested in their content. And they probably bought subscribers or they just went off the reservation at some point.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And I've worked with people who have had massive views on videos, and then I later found out that that was actually an ad, and they'd spent thousands of dollars sending traffic to it. But YouTube won't tell you that. You just think, wow, this video did amazingly well. It must be really good. I must copy this. But you could be copying somebody's ad. That's kind of the thing that you would never know unless you saw behind the scenes of someone's analytics. And I just want to add another example. There's a business, more recent business coach. I won't say who, I won't say what industry, because that's not the point. But he is massively famous all around the world. Has, I don't know, maybe combined 4 to 5 million followers, more money than he really needs, and a good lifestyle and all that. And of late, he's switched and now he's a business coach. But his business content doesn't get anywhere near as much attention as his fitness stuff. And it's interesting because a lot of stuff he's teaching, I know where it's come from because I'm in the same masterminds and groups. So he's just replaying his own content with his own spin on it. But, maybe getting 5,000 views, 10,000 views, when in his original niche, he might get 500,000 views. So coming back to your point, it will humble you. And ultimately, you got to be clear on what your goal is. And this is a problem with YouTube because people are just like, oh, I want to grow the channel. It's like, why? Why do you want to grow it? Oh, to get more subs. Why? Oh, to sell this. No, your goal is to sell this. So just all your videos need to be geared around selling X. If you want more subscribers, then you need to know why you want more subscribers. If you want more opt-ins, if you want people to join your school group, whatever it is, like there needs to be that connection there. But you can literally click on 90% of YouTube channels and the videos might be great, but you don't really know why they're making the videos. It's not clear. So you'd be far better off to set a clear goal, which we have done. Like we said, we want to get to 1,000 subs. Why? Because we want to monetize the channel. Why? Because we want to generate revenue and build an audience who are going to watch the videos, which leads to collaborations and partnerships. And that's already happening
And lead to a
this year.
brand exit at some point. It's all stacks. At least at the moment,
Yeah.
the channel is earning back a substantial portion of its production costs in ad revenue
Yeah.
fairly quickly.
For such a low subscriber count, it's doing great on the revenue so far, and that's only going to keep growing. But obviously, the subscribers don't necessarily build up the ad revenue; it's the videos. And I think a lot of people might be shocked when they realize just how many views you need to make good money on YouTube. Hence, why a lot of people deviate to clickbait style content that's a bit crazy because they think, well, that's going to make me more money. But really, you would probably make more money just selling your product and service and making videos that are all geared around nurturing that, the touch points, the time, the relationship with the viewer, so that they go, okay, I trust this guy. Now I want to join his school group. Now I want to buy his product. Now I want him to coach me or whatever it is. Like in your case, it might be, I'm going to go buy that board. And then they use your discount code, and that supplier's like, oh, you keep sending me customers. Let me send you some gear, or let's do a collab. And that's already happening.
That's definitely happening. I've been sent fair bit of equipment. There's even stuff waiting for me when I get home. I've got a big bag of fins there from a fin supplier who I've constantly mentioned in my videos as a paying customer, mind you. This is a classic case of purchased the equipment myself. I've put in the 10 years of learning and R&D to have an opinion because, it's a fickle market. But one of the greatest things that have happened is when the equipment manufacturers comment with praise. And then recently on the channel bottom video, which I must say was one of the more tricky videos I've made because firstly, there's a lot of division in the surfing industry about how they work and if they're good or not. which I think was actually the key to why the video went well.
Yeah.
But one of the people who commented on that was one of like pretty much the icon in the entire world surfing authority. He has over 1,000 surfboards in his collection. And he said, finally, someone's done a good video about this topic. And it was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is real. And there's something about the integrity of that and the heart that goes into caring enough about my audience for them to make sure that what I'm telling them is correct. And they can tell. The vast majority of comments, it's like 98 point something percent are positive. There's hundreds of comments on some of these, and I get asked every single day. I get asked about what fin or what board or whatever, either via email or direct message on socials or comments in the things. It's very satisfying as a creator to get that feedback. That's better than the hollow victory of running a lot of ads, in my opinion. And so, really, we're focused on the organic side of YouTube in this video, just to be clear. If you want to do the paid commercial thing, that's totally fine. But what I'm interested in is, can we make videos that YouTube want to show to people beyond my subscriber base that are meaningful? And when I look at our analytics, Zach, we've had some great successes. We've had 16,929 views with 122 comments. We've had 7,700 views. We've had 25,000 views, 44,851 views with 172 comments, 12,568, 8,665, 14,616, 22,481. So that was one of the first ones we did together. The most views I ever got before working with you was 9,900, and that was surf hats. And that was like years ago. And the one before that was 7,700. And that one was 6 years ago, right? So the video that we published last month, less than a month ago, has had more than twice as many views on, just having a process, working on the package, getting the right big idea, coming up with the title, the thumbnail, the opening hook, and then the correct filming, audio, B-roll, packaging, and the outro and stuff. Getting that dialed is where the rubber meets the road. And it's been such a fulfilling exercise. I can't describe in words how it feels to actually have some success in something that I was unable to have success with before. That's the most empowering thing. And I have taken some of the principles across to my business channel. And even though in the business channel, like you said, you end up often getting less views than in a hobby channel, we are working on better thumbnails. We are coming out with better hooks. We are getting better comments. We are making sales of my membership and mentorship from the concepts that translate.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with the business channel. Most people I've worked with are business based, and it's more views is great, but you could get 100,000 views like I have on my videos and not get one sale, and then a video that gets a thousand views might sell a couple of products, which then pays for the cost of the person who edited it and the designer, and it's like becomes a self-fulfilling organic funnel. But it does require devotion and dedication, and I don't want people to think that YouTube is some easy, quick hack to organic. It's the most difficult platform. And another reason why it's working so well for you is because you are dedicated to it. You do put the effort in. You don't just throw it all on somebody's desk and say, send me the script. Like, you actually give it time and attention. And then I obviously do my best to come in and polish it and, make it as smooth as possible so that we know if we're baking a cake, it's
Man,
going to be
you
the
are the
best
bumper
cake.
rails on the bowling alley. You're like,
Yeah, it's a
okay,
good way to
it's
put it.
ready to
Yeah.
go. We check if we got the right ball. Are the bumper rails up? Is it set to go? Okay, I think we're good to go now. Like before, I just go in and just throw it down the hole, end up in the gutter. This is hard. So you've taken the risk factor out of it for me. It's still challenging and difficult, but I've built a system, and let's say I'm a year in now, but I've got a wonderful system of the prep work, the scripting, the filming, the editing, the publishing, and then the post-publishing recycling of the ideas into blog posts, the emails. It's generating revenue. It's exciting. Couldn't have done it without you, Zach. If people want to find out about you, vidsurface.com. You're doing some consulting. You've got a checklist they can buy as well. So they can enter in it for a very small amount, or they can spend way too little, I think, your consulting fee, by the way, but whatever it costs, it's worth it. If you're already doing YouTube, but you can't figure out why it's not working for you, Zach will punch you in the face, metaphorically, and explain to you what you're doing wrong in the nicest way. But think of him more like a cyborg than a human. He'll just tell you factually, do this, don't do that, yes, no, and try this. And within a very short time, I expect you'll get a result too. That's what I suspect will happen. So, Zach, final thoughts on the YouTube mission and in terms of where we're up to at this stage of our journey, because I know we're going to have updates in the future.
Yeah, well, I think we've got the system, like you said. So we know your formula. It's proven over and over and over for the last year. We've hit initial goals. We have bigger goals, obviously, to get to 10,000 subscribers next year, and I think that's already a given because of the rate that it's growing at. And we've got heaps of ideas that we're going to roll out. So really, we're just working the system and growing what you've developed, and then ultimately the collaborations are where things will really kick in, and that's already happening. It's just it's going to evolve, and I can see your channel collaborating with the celebrities in the space. It's only a matter of time.
Well, I think
So
we've started in a small circle of what people liked and developed that well, and now we're trying different topics around it. That's why it can be a bit hit and miss. But like the next 3 videos are all experiments, because one of them's on a new topic, a type of board we haven't done. Another one is on a different format, more what is it, Sam Sulo? Is that guy? The bodybuilder guy?
Sam Sulek,
Sulik?
yeah, the
Yeah.
guy who just
It's just a monologue
documents
to the
his
camera,
life.
which
Yep.
I reckon will be total hit or miss.
Yep.
And then the other one is a different type, like a quiver type one. And so we're going to see where the warm spots are, and then we'll move into those. I have seen people come and go in the last year trying to do a channel and disappear because it's too hard. You have to have structure. You have to do the prep work. And of course, with surfing, there are physical challenges. You actually need equipment, monetary requirements. You need time to
Weather
go and
conditions,
the
all that.
B-roll, man. Half the time I'm surfing with a GoPro in my mouth, trying to capture
Yeah,
footage. And
it's a
the
lot more
ultimate video
difficult
would have
than.
been the one where I got my leg rope snapped,
Oh yeah,
and I'm 200 meters out to sea, and I had to swim for my life back to shore. If I wasn't going to make it, I was definitely going to film my last piece. I had my GoPro, so I was gonna make sure I got that last one. Someone would have been able to edit up something beautiful, I think.
yeah,
My last
far out.
words. Anyway, thankfully, spoiler alert, I made it back. But it's fun having that responsibility to try and craft something unique and creative. And I encourage anyone entrepreneurial, have your passion, hobby. Like the guys doing software have their crypto channels for fun and stuff. Like, it's okay to do something completely outside of your space, and it's okay to be a beginner and to learn about it. I'm happy to share my learning experience. I don't have so much pride that I can't talk about my channel that started off a year ago with 70 subscribers or 30 something subscribers. It was very, very small, and pleased with where it's going. So we'll do some more updates in the future. Zach, thanks for coming and sharing where we've been up to and some of our wins, some of our misses, and how that process works in the background. If you are listening to this or watching this and you've got questions about my process, Zach's process, anything to do with the filming, the production, the editing, the scheduling, the strategy, or whatever, just ask questions, hit reply to the email, or post below this video, and I will see if we can incorporate that into a future episode. This is episode 1102. I'm talking with Zach Mason, who's from vidsurface.com. And by the way, he can also help you shed kilos, build strength, and get your metabolism right, because that's what he did first before with this guy gets you fit and he makes your YouTube video channel work. You can't ask for more than that in a bloke.
2-for-1 combo.
Thanks, Zach.
This is James Schramko.